Welcome to Between the Covers podcast. I'm your hostess, Nix.
And I'm Ophelia.
And today, for the second time, I want to talk to you guys about smut.
Sounds like the start of an intervention.
I know, right? Please switch the cameras, Scorch. Please. This is important.
This is not a good angle. Much better.
No, this is important. I want to look our viewers in the eye when I say this.
Oh, apologize.
I know that I've been complaining about the lack of true smut that we've been reading, and I just want to apologize to you all, because now having read truly the lowest of lowest smut novels, I am embarrassed to have even sullied my mind with such garbage. So I got what I wanted, and it wasn't what I wanted. And I just want you guys to know that I too can feel shame. Okay, we can move on.
Now that her soliloquy is over, let's get started on tonight's book, if you can call it that. Novelette, garbage, trash.
It's called Temptation, and it's by Camilla
Hope.
Right, Camilla Hope.
And this is a BBW, paranormal romance. And for those uneducated viewers, listeners, a BBW is a big, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's an absolute misnomer. She's big. I don't know about beautiful. But
why don't you give us a little Snapchat of Miss Hope?
So Camilla Hope. I was, after reading this, shocked by her picture.
Oh, yeah, me too.
She was absolutely not what I was expecting, albeit photoshopped. She, we don't have a picture, but she is an attractive, thin, blonde woman, young. And
she must have some weird fetishes.
Right. And she's probably not very educated in... Is there something on your nose?
No, it itches.
Okay. So she was born in London, England.
Yes.
I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, but she's a true romantic at heart. And enjoys writing stylish fiction aimed at those who love romantic, gritty novels.
Oh, I think, he found...
Do you find the it's on Amazon, her picture.
This is her, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just point out to everyone that that's in the fucking, like, suggested, or, like, in the same one as her, right? Like, I don't know what she's doing. Yeesh.
Well.
Interesting.
Maybe she's some kind of porn star that decided to get into writing.
Hot.
You know, that makes a whole lot of sense.
She's trying to hit a niche market with the BBW stuff. And it is garbage.
It is garbage of the stinkiest order.
She knows how someone gets fat, and she exploits that. Lots of food.
Well, you know, Holly, our main character, is she's a stress eater or a celebratory eater or any excuse at all eater.
She's my boyfriend beat me up again. I'm gonna eat.
After drinking Cape Codders.
And
I feel like Cape Codders are gonna be ruined for me forever now. It's like,
I work next to a Starbucks, so I'm gonna drink a huge mocha latte, frappuccino, extra cream, whipped cream every day, extra sugar.
She was in like making the self-deprecating fat jokes constantly.
I don't mind the self-deprecating, but there's a lot of other people that like to point out her fatness too.
Like those kids. I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. So Ms. Hope is a petite-looking blonde woman who lives in England and is a true romantic at heart. And if this is indicative of her idea of true romance, then I feel very sorry for her, because that is not what's happening in this book.
I think you're finding evidence to her maybe having been a porn star or something.
Maybe.
If this is romance.
Oof.
Well.
All right, main characters.
Get into it.
Yeah.
Well, Holly. The main character is Holly. She is chubby. She's got big boobies, big hips, big butt, big everything, but a small waist apparently.
Okay, but also she has a belly.
Oh, a belly too.
I don't
so
understand
it's like
how
small,
that.
and then the belly comes out, starts like right here. Then she's got a big belly.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah.
She
Yeah.
has mouse brown hair.
Mousy hair, glasses,
Mm-hmm.
askew or lost lots of times.
She's very clumsy. She falls down a lot.
She loses her breath and can't even carry a load of clothes when she works at Macy's, and that's like the best she can do. So
She's kind of just a sad person.
complains
in
about
general.
her $850 a month 1-bedroom apartment, which here
I would
be
love to pay
insane. If I could
$850
pay
a month for a
$850,
1-bedroom.
Right? Where is she? In the middle of nowhere.
I feel like they're in the South somewhere.
Must be. There's no way it would never be that cheap here.
And just like based off of a couple of, I feel like there were some slang terms or phrases used that I think are Southern. Like
You would know
the one
better.
you asked me about, which was
the devil, something like
the
that.
devil you don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, better the devil you do is the saying.
Right, yeah.
And it's
And I
better the
didn't know
devil
that
you
one.
do know than the devil you don't know, which
Could be
is very Southern.
Okay, that's why I didn't know it.
There was a billboard on the way to the beach from where I lived that said, "Go to church or the devil will get you." That's all it said. There's just a giant billboard on the side of the highway.
You won't see that up here.
No. No, you will not. Right. So we've got Holly, the sad, fat, clumsy, emotional wreck.
Well, she
And-
has a good reason to be emotional wreck, but
That's
she
true.
also has a good reason to go on a diet, which she doesn't do.
Well, she did. She does diet, but it just isn't working out, apparently. According to the next major character, which is her shitty, abusive boyfriend, Kurt.
Yes.
With a C. Kurt with a C, not with a K.
And on this note, he says, Christ, he said, when I said I wanted more of you to love, I didn't think you'd take that as an excuse to get bigger. So he's verbally and physically
Yep,
abusive,
mhm.
practically rapey, except that she really wants it, so it's not rape. But he borders the, he toes the line.
It's definitely like hate fucking.
Right. It's not
Like he doesn't
good.
have sex with her because he wants to like rejoice in her femininity or something.
Yeah, it's
like
not
he's
about
having
love
sex
for
with
him.
her because it gives him power over her.
Yeah,
Because
just
she's
like
fucking desperate and needy. Like
yes.
there are just so many sad parts where she's like trying to kiss him while he's
yeah, Kurt,
forced
why
like
won't you love
hate
me?
fucking her, and she's like, I tried to like lean forward to kiss him, but he like keeps pushing me back. Maybe she just like can't sustain herself in a sit up position for very long.
Like she should have known when she first met him. He said, "A little more meat than I'm used to," he said as he pulled at the loose flesh about my stomach.
Ew. There were so many times reading this book where I felt very physically uncomfortable.
This is not what you want to be reading when you read a romance. You don't want to feel nauseous.
I know, but it's funny. There's like that weird line that romance novels have to toe because it's so fucking predictable to read a romance novel where it's like the heroine is busty and she has a nice hips,
They're
but
always
she has
beautiful.
a teeny waist and wild, usually auburn hair and startling gem colored eyes, usually blue or green, and like very pale
or
skin
sometimes
and
chocolate
freckles.
brown, but either way,
Right? Yeah, no,
they're always gorgeous.
Right. And
And-
I see that getting, that's tiresome to read about over and over again because it's like, most people aren't movie star gorgeous. So it's nice to read a book about a more flawed protagonist,
Yeah.
but this is too far off of the other
But I
end.
give her credit because I was laughing out loud at parts in this. It was so ridiculous, absurd, and so different than the other things we've read.
Yeah,
that it was just
that.
like it was insane. This is closer to the disgusting, crazy fan fictions we read than
Oh my
actual
God.
novels.
Yeah, it definitely did have a very fetishy feel,
Yeah.
especially the like forced feeding.
Oh, yeah, I got quotes on that too.
Oh my God.
So this is the quote that I have, and then we can explain the context after.
Okay.
Kurt, I said, bacon fat running down my chin. Would you care to explain what happened before that?
Oh my God. Yeah. And also, while I'm explaining, keep in mind that this is all happening. She's like having these flashbacks while she's at work.
Right. Yeah.
Ringing up customers as the cashier at Macy's. And there are like several of these flashback interludes. And it's just the most awkward transition I've ever read. It's like, as I was ringing up the tags, like something would remind me, and then it would just be like, boom, flashback. And then there's the flashback.
Talking about her nails, and her husband Ned loved.
Yeah. And then there's
nails.
like a flashback sequence, and then like what snaps it back is like somebody going, miss, excuse me, miss, like I'm trying to pay for my fucking shit. Not like that. But anyway, so this is one of the flashbacks where she has like made Kurt breakfast for dinner,
which is great,
which is amazing. Like
she
made like pancakes and eggs and bacon and
greasy bacon,
and he like comes home and he's like, what the fuck is this, like, are you serious, blah blah blah. And then he's like, well, we got, like, you have to eat, you have to keep your strength up. And he like forces her head into the platter of bacon, and she like, hold on, I highlighted this because this was friggin' disturbing to me. Look, your dinner is waiting, Kurt said. Don't tell me you don't want to eat. Before I knew what was happening, he grabbed a hunk of my hair and pushed the plate of bacon into my face. I struggled to escape the still bubbling grease as it singed my eyes. But even as the contacts offered a kind of protection, there was the lack of air as I squirmed against the plate, against the meat. I parted my lips in search of a deep breath, but I was still smothered. I heard Kurt laugh as he shoved my head deeper into the table, into the meal that was supposed to make him happy. Eat up, Kurt barked. We wouldn't want you losing your strength or anything. I had no choice but to chew in an effort to break free of his cruel hold. As I nibbled, swallowed, and caught the sweet breaths in between each bite, I knew that this wasn't going to be the night that I had hoped for.
But this is abusive. This is not like
so
feed or fetish stuff. This is abuse.
I know.
But it is the reader.
Wow.
No, it's disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, if your face is being smushed into a plate of bacon, like, bacon is not airtight, okay? There's no way in hell that, like,
that you'd have to take
that you would have to eat your way out of this situation.
She's like, this is stressful. No, I'm gonna take a bite. Bacon's good.
She's like,
no, this makes me really want bacon now.
I know, me too. And then I feel sick about it, and then I don't want bacon anymore because I'm like, bacon's gonna be forever ruined for me because of this fat bitch.
I do want breakfast for dinner.
I can't.
We'd stop at IHOP around the corner like Christian Grey.
No, oh my god. I can't.
Anyway.
It's bad. Yeah, so there was just like,
but that's just
stuff.
one of many instances of him being extremely abusive to her.
Right. Yeah. So we have Holly. We have her shitty boyfriend Kurt. We have her coworker Marie. Oh, sorry, Marie.
Who's,
feisty,
thin, normal.
She's a normal sized girl. Yeah.
Like, she was the type that would make fun of her in high school, and they went to high school together, and now they're friends because they work together and they're adults. But and Marie's really protected of her, and she is very feisty. She's aggressive. Some teenagers came up to them.
Oh my god! Please read the insults. They're the worst. Here's how I know that this author has never been a big girl, and I say this as someone who's never been like technically a big girl, but the insults that these teenagers yell at Holly are like the lamest fucking insults I've ever heard in my life. Like, clearly this woman has never been yelled at for being a fatty,
They're pointing at her as she's drinking the big unhealthy Starbucks drink and goes, guess the cow needs its milk.
I'm pretty sure there were some more.
I don't have them highlighted, but I'll look.
I don't know.
206.
I don't know what page that is. It doesn't really matter. It's like near the...
But Marie's there with her nostrils flaring. She's ready to beat up these teenage boys. But to the rescue comes our
Jacob.
Male love interest, Jacob.
Yeah.
Which those are apparently his employees that were making fun of her. So
Right. I never quite understood the connection there. There's like a whole lot about Jacob that doesn't make any sense at all. Like before the story even starts, at the very beginning of the book, we see him like, and he's worried about something that's only alluded to as the change in italics. It's very mysterious, and we're not really like sure what it is.
We get
supposedly
hints. He has very hairy hands.
right. And a
she likes it.
slight beard. A slight beard, which I fucking hate. She says that all the time. She's like
a
his
17-year-old
slight
boy.
beard. Right. It's like patchy and scraggly and kind of puby, and you're just like, I don't know if you have enough testosterone.
This is supposed to be about
for me.
romance. Can you say 5 o'clock shadow, a
Right.
stubble,
yeah.
anything?
Sort of like, well manicured beard even
Right,
would
yeah.
work. Like just so many places you could have gone, and instead you went with a slight beard. A neck beard, basically. No.
I mean, he has hairy hands. He probably's gonna. Maybe the hair just.
Didn't she say something about the hair on his back at one point?
Ugh.
I feel like she did, and I was like,
I must have removed that from my memory.
I don't know. But anyway, at the very beginning of the novel, we see like this interlude, prologue sort of thing about him.
Right, he's talking to. Is it Mitch?
Mitch.
His
He's talking to his employee, and he's like, oh, like the change is upon me, and like I need to find some willing girl to like
Right.
do something. There's some mystical thing that he needs some girl for.
He needs a girl who's a victim, like a girl
easy
who's-
to get.
Yeah, like someone who is fat like her, or abused,
Or like
she's
her.
perfect, fat and abused.
Right, yeah,
So-
definitely. She definitely
perfect
has
target.
and she's very insecure.
Right.
And so he's theoretically gorgeous.
And he's trolling the mall weeks after weeks, trying to find the perfect girl. And then
yeah, he goes to the mall.
And then he rescues her from the teenage boys saying
Mm-hmm.
moo, and that was the other thing they said. They yelled moo at her. And he's enthralled, or maybe not.
Yeah,
it might
no.
be fake, but we don't know. We're inside her head, not his.
Right, yeah. And so then he like apparently wanders around the department store all day looking for her.
I wonder if he turns invisible or something, or she's just stupid and doesn't see him, because he follows her all day.
Yeah. Which she finds creepy at first, but then is somehow okay with it.
Creepy. So after that day when they meet, she leaves work and she's supposed to meet Kurt at a park that he told her to meet her at. So
But she's very late because
Right.
of something.
Well, she finds Jacob and talks to him.
Right.
So she chats with him for a bit and is like, "What's going on? Why are you here?"
Yep.
And then she goes to find Kurt, and Kurt's like, suddenly
2 sheets to the wind on Cape Codders in the fucking parking lot
Cape
out by
Codders.
the tennis courts or something. And then he screams at her and starts to beat her up. He like punches her in the stomach and shit.
Right, yeah. So he's there. Here we go.
He's like enraged.
Why did you do this, Holly? He asks. Why do you keep giving me reasons to do this to you? As he punches her to the ground. She's lying on the ground, all bruised and bloody, and she looks over and she watches this father and chubby daughter playing catch. And is like, "Oh, I hope she catches it, so she's not like me and not a loser like me, and I hope she catches the ball." And then sees the father pick her up and like, "Oh," loves her and walks away, and she's like, "Oh no, they left." So then Jacob comes, beats up Kurt.
Very, very brutally, apparently.
Yep. Rescues her.
Yep. Takes her back.
Oh, she faints.
faints.
And then she wakes up with stained glass with moonlight coming through it.
Yeah,
and she
in
has
like
her
a
glasses
fancy
on,
ass
so
bed.
it's fuzzy. Everything's fuzzy. She lost her glasses. Jacob comes in, gives her glasses, locks her in the room,
Yeah.
and makes her dinner. So she's like, "Oh no, I watched too many serial
like
crime
this
dramas.
is really bad."
He's gonna rape and murder me."
And then he like feeds her, and she's like trying to sneak her cell phone and like call Maria, and like it won't work. And he's
he like kind of forces her to eat as well. Like, "Please enjoy my food, eat it."
yeah, I
and then
made
he
it
doesn't
for
eat,
you.
does he?
He doesn't.
Yeah,
and then
maybe
he
'cause of
serves
the
her
garlic,
more.
I thought, but then it turns out he's a werewolf.
Yeah,
Werewolves
well,
with garlic?
kind
It's
of.
wolfsbane. Oh wait, that's wild garlic, right?
Yeah,
I'm all mixed up.
I don't know. Like it's definitely creepy. Like he won't let her leave. He lets
Right.
her call her friend from his landline.
Yeah, and she's
stuff like that,
"Oh,
and that's
maybe he
fine.
is okay. Maybe he did this for a reason." But he locked her in the room. It's just
No, I think he
funny.
locked her in the house.
in the house. Okay, but
Because she
it's-
goes to try to open the front door and it's like locked or
Yeah,
swollen
so
shut
she
or
gets
something.
freaked out a little bit, and then by the next day, or he drives her home and
Yeah. I
just
think
waits outside our house so that in case Kurt shows up.
yeah, literally all night.
So he's there in the morning.
Yep.
And they see some school kids walking by, and one
They're like children walking by, and one of them's
Kids.
getting bullied, and so
Yeah.
he like slams one of the bullies against the wall.
the bully says, "Give me your lunch money," and then he almost kills this
like this
kid
child
who's taking this other kid's lunch money.
Oh my god! And she's like, "No, stop it!" like,
Just absurd
it is
situations that
super-
happen.
I know, and it's so poorly written, like so poorly written.
Oh, it's terrible. I think I had an example of how badly written it is in here. Ugh.
Yeah, I
This is an example.
Okay.
You're like, ellipses.
Mm-hmm.
You're like ellipses, like a puzzle, Holly. Where we
Oh my
began.
god!
It was the
Awful,
first time that
so
anyone
bad.
had ever compared me to what was basically a kid's game, but somehow the simile fit. It's like she just learned what the word simile was. I heard they had better education in England, but I guess Camilla didn't.
I don't know. The whole story was just like so discombobulated.
Oh yeah.
Stuff was all over the place. Like this girl, not an interesting protagonist.
Nope.
Just like, I mean, it sucks. Like the shitty boyfriend really hit the nail on the head. Like when he's yelling at her and stuff. He's like, "You're pathetic," and it's like she is kind of pathetic.
If she's putting up with that kind of behavior, yeah. Obviously.
Well, and it's like so desperate, like that inner monologue that she was having with herself, where she's like,
right.
"Oh, but like if he didn't want to be here, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
so like
just
he
him
kind
being here
of
alone
loves
means
me
so much.
Yeah, like he kind of cares, and like
Yeah, but he's also an ugly, balding guy. Like, right.
not a good description of him.
No, he did not
Once.
sound attractive.
No, he didn't sound attractive. He's not nice. Like their first sexual encounter. Their first sexual encounter was so sad. It was just like
It was like immediately after they met too.
it was immediately after they met. She was clearly desperate, so she's gonna let him do whatever he wants, and he like takes her into a room and is like the 2-pump chump. Like immediately, it's just like oh,
And that's where he's like,
And then
a
he's
little more
like-
meat than I'm used to.
right, and then he's like, "Oh, you're so good, Holly. Like good Holly." It's like a dog or something, and it's just gross. And then, she's like ruminating on her sexual encounters with Kurt before she has sex with Jacob, and she's like, "Oh, mind is blown because Jacob takes like 2 extra seconds to like try to make sure she's comfortable while they're having sex." And she's like, "Wow, I didn't know guys did this." Like, because it's just like every time she and Kurt fuck, it's just like him hate fucking her, so there's no emotion in it.
Wow, I didn't know I was entitled to basic human decency.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you
It was
kind of
just
give
like,
that up when you stuff your face with bacon every night.
Oh my
and
God.
drink huge Starbucks drink.
Ugh.
No, this guy, he's abusive and disgusting, and
I was like, man, this author really knows how to like write about food.
yeah.
There's so
That's why
much.
I was shocked by her picture.
Yeah.
But to how many times she's like looking and thinking about food as well, that makes me really think she's really into food.
Yeah.
This author must know what it's like to be fat and always want food.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
And-
she's just like one of those people who has an insanely good metabolism, so she can eat like a fat person and not be fat.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Rare, but mostly males that are like that. I don't know. Maybe that's the secret. It's a transgendered person.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was more like awful abusive sex with Kurt in this book than there was like romantic sex. I don't know.
There was way more abuse and violence and just
Yeah.
terror than actual like romance. There's not a lot
and I
of
wasn't
romance.
expecting it to be like a part
But-
one.
Right, but the romance is quick. Suddenly, she says, after this is 2 days of knowing him at the most, but I had knew all sides of him. She's claiming to know outside. And then the next
How?
page, he's talking to her. This is after the night that he watches her.
Yeah.
She goes to work. And that night she meets him.
He shows up at her work, right?
Yeah, sweetheart. He purred.
Yeah, I missed you so much.
How do you purr? I miss you so much.
I think it's more. No.
I missed you so much.
I think it's like.
Or sweetheart. You can't. How do you purr, sweetheart?
I think it's more in like the tone that you say it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it means
Sweetheart.
that she like or he literally
so
purred
much.
it. You
Yeah.
know?
Ugh. And then she goes, "Me too." Like this is the day after. He
The
meets
day
her
after,
pretty much,
yep.
So
It is painful. And then like the whole thing with the wolf and
right. So they go on their
There's, like, this-
romantic picnic.
Yeah.
After that, he takes her over there, and then a wolf comes out and attacks her. This is where we get to the paranormal part.
Oh my god. It's just
Well,
bad.
it's right after they mention his
poorly
hairy hands
presented.
again.
Yeah. It's just the descriptions are so juvenile sounding. And just like the flow of the writing is really choppy.
Everything's bad,
It's just like sentence.
but I still have to give her
Sentence.
credit for making me laugh out loud.
Yeah, but like not intentionally.
I know, but
All right.
if it was mediocre, it wouldn't be as entertaining as this because it's
I
just
suppose.
horrible.
I suppose. I mean, there were literally points when I was reading this where I was like, this is dirty. Like, and not in like a fun way. This like makes
Unclean.
me feel sort of unclean and like kind of ashamed. Like, I'm ashamed to be reading this right now because it's so cringy.
Oh yeah.
And like the food descriptions made me feel like kind of sick sometimes. It's just like, this is way too much detail about eating.
It did make me want some garlic pasta though. That sounded
Yeah,
good.
the garlic
stuff
pasta
Jacob
did
made sounded
sound. Yeah,
delicious.
it did. Definitely.
That's why I thought it was going to be about vampires. Then he makes garlic pasta, but
Yeah.
I guess they're werewolves. Well, she sees some kind of strange creature in his house. Is that him
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
changed
Yeah,
after the
probably.
moon?
I think so. I think it is because that's like right before it like ends and goes like, you know, stay tuned for part 2. I'm like, I don't really want to.
I don't want to, but I want to know a little more about the werewolf lore because this did not do it any.
It was like a BBW humiliation humiliation fetish
Right.
novel, and then at the end they were like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be paranormal, here's some like hairy hands on this dude and like maybe a werewolf. You know what I mean? It was so last second.
I didn't even consider that the humiliation fetish was an aspect of this, but it really
I think it
that
is.
seems like
Because like even as he's Kurt is degrading her and like saying these horrible things and you know clearly just physically using her for his own needs, like she's still into it.
But I'd get that if they were doing a like role play thing.
Right.
Like,
It's
he's
not
just actually
it's
being
clearly
a
not
violent,
a role play.
abusive, horrible person. Like
Yeah.
he's really, really
He's
bad.
awful.
He beats her to the ground and knocks her out. Like
Yeah, although that's like the first time that we've seen that. Like it
Right.
It didn't
It-
seem
it
to
escalated,
indicate
but
right.
he does things he could go to prison for, basically. So
He's
a little-
definitely a shitty person.
I mean, I don't know how often that happens, but it seems a little unrealistic.
I don't know. In what way does
How
it
many
seem
women are
unrealistic?
there whose boyfriends push their face into bacon grease and tell them you're fat and disgusting? And I don't know.
Oof.
I guess you don't hear about it every day, which is good.
Yeah.
Now I want bacon. We have to wrap this up soon.
Yeah, right. I am actually hungry. I haven't really eaten today.
I'm trying to find another quote.
I just like there were so many like really bad ones. They were all like short little one-liners. Cuz that's like what most of this book is.
Yeah, they're all short sentences.
There's no like really complex sentence structure happening in this book at all. Like I would settle for like a couple of compound sentences, but like it literally they're just all
there was
singular clauses.
Nothing impressive about the writing at all.
Not at all.
But it was reflected in the low intellect of the protagonist.
She was dumb.
Yeah, just from the beginning, I could tell. She's working at Macy's, and she's breathing heavily and barely able to carry a load of designer clothes across the floor of Macy's, and almost passes out until her friend comes and rescues her.
Yeah, like she's like talking about getting buried under a pile of clothing and suffocating. It's like, excuse me.
I also forgot. I went back to the beginning. She has a sister. Her sister and her mother would make fun of her for being fat.
Because her sister is a
beautiful
cruel, a cruel person. She like makes a big deal of it. She's like, you know, I could be this like my sister. I could be that like my sister. But
Sandra was born blonde, beautiful, and slim. Everything I'm not. But she was also something else that I could never be. Not even on my worst day. Sandra was cruel.
Yeah, it's like a separate sentence and stuff.
Yeah, so she grew up in an abusive household, it sounds like. Her sister calling
definitely.
her fat. Her mom probably calling her fat. Then she finds this guy who's calling her fat, and she's like, oh, you're just like my family.
I feel
Come and beat me up.
Yeah, right. I feel comforted. I don't know. Do you have any advice?
All right.
I have no advice for Jacob because he's in the story for all of like 20 minutes.
Yes. I would have to know a little more about his character and his intentions
He's
to give
the
him
dark
advice, because I
stranger.
don't know if he's like, wow, this fat, ugly chick, she's the love of my life now. I really want her and need her, and I really feel like she can give me what I need. Or if he's faking it because he needs her for some other purpose.
Right.
Sacrifice or something, who knows? So it's hard to give him advice without knowing his intentions.
Yeah.
As for her, go back to school.
Yeah, right.
Why
Go to
don't
the
you
gym.
Go to school and go to the gym.
Yeah.
Some schools have gyms.
Mm-hmm.
So go to a school with a gym. And I think that's it.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I gave it 2 stars just for making me
For
laugh.
making you laugh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I could agree with that.
I can't get over this.
I might
quote.
actually have to give it 1.5 because of the number of times it made me feel physically ill.
But I loved this. The first line I said, Kurt, I said, bacon fat running down my chin.
I know.
It's so disgusting
I know.
and horrible. And
the implication is really terrible too.
there's so many things about it that are just horrible, but I just laughed so loud at that. You got the second heart for that quote.
Well, we'll have to confer on our small council about next week's reading, but
Yes.
we'll make a post
And
about
next week's
it.
a holiday, so we'll
Yeah.
not be releasing next week. But
Probably not Friday, but maybe have like a delayed release on Sunday or something.
all right. Well, you
want to give it a try again?
so you can find us
Our plugs.
at Between the Covers podcast on Instagram, between_covers on Twitter, between_covers at Facebook.
No, Between the Covers podcast on Facebook.
I get the rest. But Between the Covers podcast at gmail.com, which is also our PayPal account. And thank you preemptively.
You can also
We're going to have
watch
some
us.
amazing merch as soon as we get some donations. I already have a design in the works, so we just need a little upfront investment. But I'm plied by 4 glasses of wine, so you probably shouldn't be putting me in charge of this.
It's true. It's a very good point. You can listen to us on iTunes or any major podcasting website. You should check out our buds at the Bastard Sermon podcast because they're awesome dudes and we support them and they support us. Yes, go ahead.
I can do this one.
Okay.
Check out Havoc Mead.
You're not even talking into the microphone, girl.
Check out Havoc Mead. I can't get close enough for you to really see this, but they are an awesome mead brewery from Vermont, and they distribute in Vermont and Massachusetts.
And Maine
right
now.
And Maine now. awesome. And they're also associated with Grown Film Eatery, which I picked up a few of their Valkyrie's Choice today, and I definitely recommend it. So, yeah.
So thanks for joining us as we, I guess, got bacon grease between the covers. Have a great night, and we'll
Who
see you.
hasn't?
Oh my God, we'll see you next time, guys.
Good night.
Tried to catch you.